Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Monday, September 15th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you are someone that uses charts within your decision-making process, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions, then this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, we are looking at OPEN, been the talk of the town for the past few weeks now. And with the momentum and such it's had, a lot of people still talking about it. Now, I will say that from a presentation standpoint, this is a little tricky to talk about because it's all about perspective. If you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there, or maybe you bought this morning right there, and your plan was to buy and sell within 20 minutes, well then yeah, from that standpoint, things are looking pretty rough because there was a bigger pullback. With all that said, if you care about the bigger picture point of view, then overall the chart is still doing just fine. In fact, if I bring down this area right here, so let's change that to green for support. But if I drag this down to the low from earlier on Thursday, you can see right there, the price hasn't even tested that. Not only that, the price is still very much so up above a very strong upsloping purple line there, which on my chart denotes that famous 50-period moving average. So in other words, all the kind of key overarching areas of support, the price is still nicely above them. So if you do care about the bigger picture, nothing crazy is going on. Now, if the price comes down and starts to crash through that green line and crash through the purple line, well, that's where things maybe start to change a little bit conversation-wise. But as of now, yeah, there was a pullback, but overall, the price still has plenty of opportunity to build those higher bases, and that's what matters most. In the very near term, I'm going to go ahead and bring this level down. Key area of resistance to watch right there, right around $9.65. But like I said, assuming you care about the big picture of things, the bulls are still in full control. Next one, TSLL. This will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched yesterday's video, but if you did, talked about that being a key area of resistance, and wow, the opening 30 minutes, price got up slightly above it, and then from there, it just absolutely exploded. So very, very impressive movement today. So overall, chart's doing very well. In the near term here, though, let's draw in this pattern here. We have an area of resistance right here, and then we have this trend line support right there. And now we have the price actually a little bit below this. And this is a rising wedge pattern, which is bearish. Now, let me be very clear. Just because something's bearish does not mean the price is going to crash or anything like that. But it does suggest a pullback, and that is where this is going to be very interesting because as I speak right now, the price is slightly below the rising wedge pattern, which brings about the very valid question, is this going to find some more strength to the downside? Again, I'm not saying a crash. And to really illustrate this, let's say the price actually does come down here and then does something like this before heading back upwards. Sure, that's a bearish pattern breakdown. But think about it from a bigger picture standpoint. You'd have lows there, you'd have lows there, you'd have lows there. You envision these as stair steps. And again, overall, the stair steps still plenty bullish within the grand scheme of things. So just because there's a bearish pattern, just because there's a slight breakdown, doesn't mean it's game over. I'm just saying that after this big upwards movement, this is suggesting that potentially there could be some more downside pressure next week. Next one, BBAI. Nice pattern here, so let's get this drawn into play. So we'll start with the top part of the pattern right there, and then do the bottom part of the pattern right here. And change that to green for support. And then to make the pattern easier to see, let's keep it all one color. So we have our area of resistance, we have our support, we have the upwards move right here. And for you golfers, make it a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. Now, as I just mentioned previously, just because something's a bearish pattern doesn't mean the price is for sure going to go down. Same is true here. Just because it's a bullish pattern doesn't mean the price is going to go up. But is it valid to think that if the price comes up here and pushes through there, that could create upside buying pressure? Absolutely. So again, is that guaranteed to happen? No, but is it a valid question to throw out there? Absolutely. So if you like bull pennant patterns, you like this price range, here you go. Next one here, RGTI, and I'm going to go through this very quickly because you just heard me talk about it, so I want to respect your time as much as possible. But we have another one of these, bull pennant patterns. So there is our area of resistance. Here's our area of support, and then just to make sure everybody can see the pattern, let's keep it the same color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the nice upwards move right here, we have the golf hole down here, and here we are looking at another bull pennant. So if you like bull pennants, you got a couple to choose from. Next one here, NXTT. Had a very strong close, but then the news showed up and the company decided to pretty much just squash all the momentum that it had. So I'll get rid of that, and I don't foresee myself really doing any more on this in the near future. But other than the fact of, yeah, this move here turned out to just pretty much be a pump and dump. What is by definition of a pump and dump? Well, a pump and dump, in my definition, price makes a really amazing move, and then within a relatively small amount of time, the price is right back to where it started. So you look at where this move started, it was pretty much down here, and then yeah, I think this was a pretty amazing move. And then the last part, and then within a relatively small amount of time, so I think we can all agree that basically in one day, one overnight session, the price goes right back to where it was. And unfortunately here, as the price came back down, and then if we kind of map out where the price is right now, well, you can see that it is essentially right back inside of that range where it all began. So just because it was a pump and dump does not mean that another nice move can never ever start. I'm just saying that, yeah, great move, and then all of a sudden right back to where it was. Real quick, want to take a break and help you potentially solve a very common problem, and that is this. You want to be a day trader, and I'm defining day trader as having unlimited day trades every day, but you can't because of the pattern day trading rule. Well, if that describes you, or if you're just looking for a market that moves very, very smoothly, very quickly, then definitely check out what I've been doing, because there's no pattern day trading rule, and yeah, these markets, quite frankly, make penny stocks, low floats, small caps look pretty slow in their movement. I understand that all sounds maybe a little too good to be true, a little crazy, which is why I invite you, come see it for your very own eyes. I have been live streaming. I start every day at 11 a.m. Eastern. So make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you can be reminded of when I do go live. But yeah, come check this out. You'll see for a very small amount of money needed on your part, you can get involved in a market where there's no pattern day trend rule, and there are some really, really great movements. Next one here, NVDA, and I'm going to go through this very quickly because as I talked about in yesterday, it was seeming like maybe, just maybe, NVIDIA was now starting to move into a sideways channel, and that's exactly what we have here. The price is still just stuck between these couple areas that I've talked about. So yes, today individually, I understand the price was down here, came up here, came down here, a nice little bounce right here. So yes, from a day trading scalping perspective, there is some good solid movement. But stepping back and looking at this from more of, as we've been doing, a bigger picture, yeah, nothing really happened today because it's still almost stuck basically in the dead center of this channel. So top of the channel, area of resistance right now, 179.30. Bottom of the channel, support right there around the 175.90. So heading into next week, still just a question of who is ultimately going to win this battle. Do the bulls win with a break to the upside? Do the bears win with a break to the downside? That is the question headed into next week. Next one here, BITF. Very nice overall uptrend, although right now I'm thinking that a pullback is probably needed, or probably maybe a potentially in store here. Let me get this pattern drawn in. There we go. So there's the top part of the pattern. And there is the bottom part. So let me change that to green for support. And we have ourselves another one of these rising wedge patterns. But to reiterate, just because it's bearish does not mean it's going to go down. And also, just because it's bearish, it could go down and then still very much so remain in an overall uptrend. So not the end of the world if the price were to fall. But yes, this rising wedge pattern is bearish. It does suggest that maybe some profit takers need to step up. So we'll see if that happens at all early next week. Next one, AGAE, and we have ourselves an interesting pattern here. So put that area of resistance right there. That area of support right here. And then you've heard this pattern already. Now, it's not the cleanest. Maybe you didn't quite see it, but overall, we still do have essentially another bull pennant. If I just extend this out, you can maybe see it a little bit more right there. Put the golf hole right here. Maybe some would call it a bull flag. But the psychology is all the same. That psychology being there was a big move up. Now there's a bit of a pullback. Now it's just a question of will this pullback lead to an upwards price movement? We'll see what happens on Monday. Next one here, WOLF. And we have ourselves a pretty well, I would like to think a lot of people have noticed this area right up here at basically $2.35. That has been a problem, right? Right here, problem, rejected the price. Rejected the price, and then even right now, last 30 minutes has rejected the price. So does that mean that $2.35 can never, ever be broken? I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that as of now, very clearly the sellers are hanging up around that area, so that'll be the key battleground. But as I zoom things out, you can see that it has been a long time since the price has been up around this area. In fact, let's just go to the daily time frame, and you can see that with the price breaking above there, the chart opens up quite a bit with the next potential area of resistance. I suppose you could consider one right there about 245. But then after 245, I mean, really nothing until up over and into the 270s. But anyway, look at it again. This is a daily chart, meaning each one of these represents an entire day. as opposed to the 30 minutes here. Each is 30 minutes. But you can see knocking on the door right now of 235. The price can push up through there. Keep a close eye on 245. And then as far as supports are concerned, preferably speaking, as long as the price can stay above that trend line right there, that would be best case scenario. But from the overarching standpoint, just watch that purple line right there, the 50-period moving average. And as long as the price stays above it, like it did a beautiful job right there, then overall the bulls are in full control. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and just an absolutely great breakout. Mapped out that area of resistance yesterday. Talked about how the price is pushed above it. So it was a question of, was that going to lead to more upside pressure? And we got our answer today. Yes, a whole lot of breaking out occurred. So we'll go ahead and get rid of those lines as they serve their purpose for now. And moving forward, the ideal level of support, that level where we say, Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute best moving forward? And that would be if the price could stay up here above the 386.50 mark. With that said, and as I just talked about, if the price falls below there, by no means is it the end of the world, because from the overarching standpoint, just watch that purple line, the 50-period simple moving average. So as that line moves higher and higher, as long as the price stays above that line, then that implies the price itself is building higher lows. And that's how uptrends are constructed. You got to put in higher lows. So staying above that purple line will imply higher lows, and that is the name of the game. And then in terms of areas of resistance, let's go to the daily time frame, because as you're seeing here, it's been a long time since Tesla has been up this high. I mean, we were talking about multiple months since the price has been up this high. So next key area of resistance to watch, going into next week, right up there around 412.50. I'm not saying it shoots straight up there, but you just look back here at the chart and you can see the chart itself has opened up quite a bit. So no other data points until you start to get up around that area right there. But all in all, what a great way to close out the week on Tesla. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you are sick and tired of being trapped under that pattern day trend rule, maybe you're seeking out a market that doesn't require so much capital, but still gives you great movement, then definitely check out what I've been doing with either going to that link, or if you're super skeptical, come check out the live stream, ask me questions, and see it right before your very eyes, as I'd love to, answer any questions that you may have about it. So like I said, hopefully I'll see you on the live stream and you can ask those questions. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out, and to make sure you have a great weekend.